Good morning, traders. Happy Friday. It's 0650 Central Time and 2050 here in Southeast Asia. Friday, the day that you want to always be extra vigilant with risk management so that you don't go into the weekend with a big draw in either risk capital or emotional capital. Both of those things are bad to lose any time, but especially bad when you get all weekend to think about it. So let's see where we are today. Of course, the market did exactly what I suspected it would do after I pulled that 430, I think I was, or $400 loss yesterday. And then it rallied back, of course. So we're in a basic risk on posture this morning. Settlements 13,633 and 22,8,310 open interest on the NASDAQ Mini. Interesting how many more micros are trading than the minis. Means a lot of intraday smaller account size traders must be in there. Only thing I could think of. Anyway, so we're risk on. Risk off, that makes sense. Currencies are dollars down, not good. Everybody else is up. What's gold doing? Must be down. Yep. Okay, it's pretty classic risk on. The flights to safety are all selling off. Money's moving into the equities, the indices. Okay. And for our NASDAQ, well, there's the daily chart. So here was that level we were talking about support a couple, 3 days ago in the wick test, both of which happened. Yesterday, we actually dropped a little below that and then finished up here. Today, so far, we're trading up. Still with a wick at right about that support area and the wick test from here and here. This is that little Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That little blurb on Monday, Friday, Thursday, and the big sell down on Wednesday. But we're still in a basic uptrend, pretty clear without any structure change. Still quite possible they'll run for 1,400, 1,000. 1,400, yeah, right. And what do we have over here for levels? Well, they didn't take that POC that we talked about yesterday when I called this out in the pre-market, and then a couple other times I thought they might be running down for this. They did take out the market profile POC here for the same day. I think last Wednesday or something. But you'll notice that there's a poor low here. There's no excess. Quite frequently they repair that. However, after yesterday, a day before yesterday's trading, and now with the overnight and the Globex, we're clear up here again into this congestion area. And we've got these targets above that open POC pretty much on top of the market profile POC from Tuesday. And of course, new all-time high lurking just around the corner up here at 14,000 or so. Kind of a goofy three triple profile, whatever you want to call that, distributions. POC is quite pronounced, but interestingly, just a little above yesterday's volume POC and pretty much, yeah, quite a ways above. This is the POC from the market profile. So we're definitely trading higher, going to gap way up. Interesting to see if they trade back in, get back into value and range. What will they do? Good, Mike looks a little hot. I'm going to have to back that off just a bit. Hopefully that's good. And the 5-minute here on the NQ. Pretty boring until you squish it up, and then they sold it off hard, and then pretty much all rest of Globex they've been trading up. Look at this big stop sweep here. That made a lot of people mad. I would guess that's a fat finger myself. So let's have a look at the dashboards and the calendar. This is the calendar for today from TopStep. We're trading the TopStep Combine Stage 2. We've got no possible violations calendar-wise here. And for the Combine, we're still at the 2 contract scaling point. We've got a net weekly drawdown here of 275 from with yesterday's loss, but our daily, of course, is 0. So we've got about 750 to go in the room to move on the weekly. Here's that loss. Irritating, a nice consistent uptrend. Don't like that. That was not good thinking on my part. That second trade was way too close, way too fast. So that's our dashboard, and the target is $3,000. So this will be 53,000 at 51.5.01. The scaling contract scaling plan will up to 3 contracts, and then at 2,001 penny it will go to 5. Not that that's particularly interesting to me. I'd normally trade 2, but we'll see. So here we are, coming on to 9 o'clock. 10, I'm sorry. Yeah, 9. A little bit early today. I was thinking there might be some interesting maneuvers here on the Globex that I would like to take advantage of. I may keep the stream open through the open, regular trading hours, or end it and then restart, depending on if it's just boring and nothing going on, I don't see any point in just keeping the stream going. Certainly nobody would be interested to sit and listen to it, nor would I when I review. So how frisky these London traders are here. Well, they're quite outside of yesterday's. Look how high how close the value area high was to the high of the day of the trading range. That's interesting. And here's the Globex high from the day before. So they have yet to take that out. I would think that the regular trading hours guys would be eyeing that over, as might be these Globex here today. Oh, well, we'll have to see what's up. Quite a steady drop in relative volume, boy, through the Globex. Wow. Just ran out of gas. In days gone by, when there was a little more volatility on, wow, look at this book. It's how sparse the trades to the offer. These are trades where they've lifted the offer and it's traded through. And these are trades where they've hit the bid. So it hasn't, these numbers will change out when it passes through there again and trades on that side, but that's interesting. Pretty sparse. Yeah, changes there. That was a 16, and now it's a 1, and nothing here, nothing here. They just keep bouncing by those. Kind of lackluster trading, for sure. What I was going to say was a normal volatility in action. London would usually revert to the VWAP within the hour before the open. Let's see what this ATR says here. Wow. Look at how that ATR spiked up right there. And then it just continued to fall down. But still, I mean, we're talking about in the tens or somewhere. Why isn't that doing what it's supposed to? Show value. Didn't have it collect. That's a good reason, I guess. So right now the ATR is 7.4. A lot of people think you should, in the trend following, like the turtles and stuff, you'd use it 2 times ATR for a stop setting. That's pretty wide. I'm thinking about how to adjust that bracket. Definitely pushing that high. Now considerably above yesterday's value and range. About 30 points gap. They did trade across that value yesterday, that's for sure. When I left, they were just struggling here. They got in there and traded all the way across, no problem. Just within a tick of the top. So they've got a am I seeing things or what? Now they got a weak low and a poor high. A little hard for me to believe that this charting is accurate, that this is the volume POC rather than here. That doesn't make sense to me. The POC is just the point of control or the point where the most volume has been traded. So that doesn't make any sense unless there's one of those skinny little points or at one price level that is just traded out there a long way. Could well be it. That could well be the case, but otherwise, if not, then there's something wrong. Yeah, I think we just, this is saying the same thing, but I only see that blue volume spike out to here rather than here. So it would seem to me that this was the value area most traded, and that would be, should be the POC. Trying to get a little higher there. Working that thing. It's pretty easy to see. There's the one tick of excess, and there's the poor high, or the weak high, poor high, weak low. They're just keep pushing. They still haven't quite got to that high of yesterday's Globex. They're trying. They did get to the POC, so somebody got out of their trades. Hole. Step away for a minute. Be right back. All right. Here we go. Got the house all ready to shut down here, and everyone else is safely in their beds with their device of choice. My daughter's got an Oculus 2, a Switch, an iPad, and a phone. I'm worried when it rains, so much electricity in there, lightning's going to strike. Pretty interesting stuff now. I think back what it was like when I was a kid, and the toys that we had and what they have now is truly, truly amazing. So wonderful for them. So now, well, it would be real nice if these London traders would get their finger out and pull their normal back to VWAP trick. And I'd love to just jump on that and ride it for that 40 or 50 points. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 points. That'd be just about nice. I'm thinking that I may have a rethink on my bracket. If it looks like there's some directional move at hand, I'll kill the stop so that it doesn't jump to past break even and have that one tick wiggle. Immediately put a stop in, of course, at break even for risk protection, and then move out the target and manually trail the stop. That's the idea that I'm thinking about here. If we get some sort of a decent movement, like something like this, or a nice run up, something that's got some movement to it. Boy, I tell you, it's obviously hindsight, rear view binoculars, but what a nice trade would have been, this test of the VWAP here, and then just gone long and sat on it, just trail it up behind the lows. 120 points. That's what I need. That's where I need to get. Scalping is okay, but that's the kind of moves you need to get. That's the stuff you need to take. Or at least I think so. So, a couple minutes to the first pre-hour. On a Friday night. I hope. Things are improving in the Texas and other cold states there. My friends in Houston are taking some strain, I'll tell you. But some of them were just, lack of common sense or experience. One fellow and his family lost power and water, so they went to some friend's house to stay and didn't have common sense to shut off their water or leave a tap open. And they come back to their house as the power's come back on. Who knows for how long, but it's come back on, warmed up a little bit, and of course the pipes had broken and taken out their ceilings. Just, that's just common sense. I mean, it's no excuse for that. One friend of mine there has had his power go off and on now, I think 3 times. Water was out most of it. Now I believe he's got low water pressure and his power's back. Oh, I'll see what he has to say when he gets up here. He should be coming online here for too long. It's 7:30 over there on a Friday morning. Well, you guys just don't want to come back here, and I'm sure as hell not gonna look at along on this thing. That's for sure. Definitely weighted to the long side. Look at that 89 hanging out there at 32, 720. Now up to 90, 85. Just been parked out there now for a while. Nobody's hit it yet. 22 off at 19. See what happens. Oh, they're trading through it. Traded it out at 85. Wow. Traded out 85 contracts there at that 720. My. On the sell. So where do you suppose that guy thinks he's going? That's could well be a cover. Somebody taking profit up there in the last hour. Very definitely. Imagine you were long down here off of VWAP. So you're at essentially 100 points. So for every contract, that's $2,000. 80 contracts. God, I can't even do the math in my head. That's a hell of a lot. That's like 160 grand or something like that. Yeah, $160,000. That's the kind of trade. That's the kind of trading I need to take. I need to be doing that. Of course, the margin on overnight, the margin on 80 contracts, you got to have minimum $40,000 put up on that 80 contracts. Intraday margin. But if you're knocking off 160 grand or close in a day, that 40,000 contract size or account size is not such a stretch. I'm trying to keep all of what I do within the parameters of the TopStep rules. Sometimes I wonder if they're a little if I'm playing it right. I know there's another fella or two online that are a lot more aggressive, and they always trade the 150 contract or combine so that they have $3,000 drawdown, as opposed to on this account it's a $1,000 daily loss. And he particularly averages down quite frequently, and stuff I don't think doesn't work for me anyway within my rules of good trading or risk management. But then again, he does have some good winning days and gets through the combines frequently. Size up there again at 2722, 33 lots. And they're adding. It's real. It's trading. Traded through 38. Wow. Must be a lot of people that got long and are taking their profit here. European traders, I guess, who've had a long position on that are taking it off, going into their regular trading hour open, I suppose. $130 lots there at 720. Wow. Kind of makes my one lot look stupid. uh, there's some folks that regularly put up 4 and 5 figures on the in the funded combine account and accounts, I should say. One fella that they did an interview with, I think he had a $41,300 day. That's a pretty good check. Seems like people are doing pretty well. They paid out over $2 million in 2020 to funded traders, so that's 80% of that. They've made 400 grand themselves, which means their revenue has got to be, their revenue model's got to have a lot more involved. I guess the combines, nobody knows how much they make on the combine fees, but obviously they make a hell of a lot more than 400,000. And that's just payout. That's not what the traders made. That's how much the traders withdrew from their accounts, from their active, their funded accounts. $2 million, 2 million and change. I forget what it is. That's one of the things. That's the thing. Or the reason I went with the TopStep combine is they've been in business in Chicago, regulated in America for quite a while, and they have a excellent record of payout and no funny business and no wait this long and trade some that and whatever else. They give you the first $5,000, even if you're trading the pro account, which is really still a sim account. The first $5,000 is real money, and you can keep it all as you go into the funded, which is pretty good. And I have never seen any commentary or feedback about anybody having a problem with a withdrawal or a request for transfer out of money with them, which is obviously the name of the game. The last thing you want to do is go through the evaluation period and then be successful and then have some pencil neck in Trashcanistan or someplace run off with your money. That's the classic example of all the foreign exchange, the FX brokers that they all have London phone numbers, but they're all based in Cyprus. It's just a big scam. And it's a shame too, because people with not a lot of risk capital think Forex is a low entry bar and an opportunity, and it's like going to a carnival and thinking you're going to get rich. It's just ridiculous. There's no centralized market. There's 99% of those outfits you're trading against the house, so it's a bucket shop. They don't even hedge out your money. They don't even hedge out your position. They just trade against you. And I know for a fact, because I had an opportunity to see inside of one of the larger FX trading outfits who was based here. Actually, they had an office on the same floor as where I did in the same building, and got to be friendly with one of those guys. And that MetaTrader gives them a whole back end where they see all the trades, they see everything. They can slow your feed down. They can take, if you're a successful trader, they can move you into a delayed queue line. And it's just that MetaTrader thing has been all built in the former Soviet Union. I forget what country, and it's just absolutely rigged one way for the house, no question about it. Or it was, uh, back, that was several years ago now, but I was just astounded. Just like the old bucket shops were in the old days, back in the 20s and 30s. And it's a real shame because people with not enough money to lose, not enough risk capital, that are more or less desperate, are they're just getting fleeced. It's a shame. That's why I think the futures market is without a doubt the fairest game. It's the most transparent. It's heavily regulated. It's a zero-sum game. So the incentive to screw you is pretty much removed by the broker and those folks. Of course, there's the, high frequency trader guys paying for order flow, like all those poor folks on didn't know better with Robinhood that thought they were getting something for free. And Robinhood's largest source of revenue was selling order flow to Citadel. Well, why would anybody imagine that Citadel was paying for order flow? That's because they see your order, they step ahead of you, they take a position and sell it back to you. It's like money for nothing and the chicks for free. And all these poor kids that millennial somethings that didn't understand, that thought they were actually getting something for free. They were getting screwed for nothing without even getting kissed. It's too bad, but I'm not for. I hope that there's not a counter swing the other way with regulation and then ruin the trading that we do have. That's what happened at 911. They, when the market closed and then reopened, that's when the pattern day trader rule was suddenly put into effect. You had to have a $25,000 account, and for the first, I forget how long it was, you couldn't short. So, that's what happened to equities. And that's why futures is the most fair, even odds chance I believe there is. My opinion only, of course. Past performance is not indicative of future results. All those other things, this is just my opinion. Talking out loud on my video or my virtual trading journal. But this is stuff that I've seen with my own eyes, so that I pretty much trust. And that same foreign exchange outfit that was showing me how their back end worked. They were putting out big classes to train people to use a Martindale, which is just Jesus Christ. That was a pretty funny outfit. That was owned by one of the owners, at least, who I did meet, was a young Russian young Russian guy. Always moved with two big bodyguards to the point that the floor in the building we were on, the building was secure, and there was a floor with two offices. We had half, and they had the other half. And that's the only people on the floor. Yet, when he went to the bathroom, the two bodyguards stood outside the men's can. It was just, I can't imagine being that paranoid. And I can't imagine screwing people enough to be that paranoid. Oh, now you guys are just going to keep grinding this thing up and up and up and up and up. And I'm getting, well, I think they're just about there. There's that top of that last Globex high. Look at there, how close they are. They actually got there at one point. And there's the POC. I don't know why this thing won't wind down better, but it won't. So all of this move has been pretty much reclaimed now. And we'll see what the regular trading hours boys do with that. What do we got? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 70, 80 point gap. Unless they break off in this next hour. Well, next 45 minutes. My thinking here has been that this is a 32 tick stop. So the best or the worst profit that this bracket can take is 21 ticks. So that's a 10 tick or 2.5 point adverse relationship to the wins, win-loss ratio, whatever the hell the terminology is. That's no good. I have, however, noticed in watching the replays that this 22 tick, when the market gets to 22 ticks from entry, then the stop loss jumps from 32 to minus 32 to plus 21. And very, very often, all of the last trades, the last couple of weeks, this 1 point here, this 1 tick gets hit. And that's where the profit is. So that's the profit that's being taken against a 32 tick loss. And that's not good. However, I have noticed that quite frequently, well, no, I haven't noticed that. I was going to say I've noticed quite frequently it didn't go much past the 22 ticks. So the question is, do I reduce the stop, reduce the profit target here and leave this alone and reduce the stop, which would increase the probability, the possibility of being stopped out. I got to look at that this weekend. I'm trying to figure out the best back testing. Trying to get my head around Pine coding for the trading view. I'm tired of dealing with TradeStation. They're just annoying. A modern day platform that doesn't have VWAP is just, come on. It's like Ninja Trader. They put out a basic thing and then expect you to buy all this crap from somebody else to be able to use it. I don't like that idea. TradeStation's a lot easier that easy language is a hell of a lot easier to work with though than Pine, which is much more similar to Visual Basic scripting or C+. And my goal is not to learn a new code language. My goal is to backtest what I want to backtest and be able to, and then trade. That's the disappointing part. So we've got about 40 minutes to the open. Funny how all the things we talk about or that are talked about on all these trading channels are really do bear out some truth. I mean, the high volume node here, and here's all the trading which created that, and then it gets up here to where this low volume node is, and nobody's interested in buying there. There's no interest in two-way trade, and it goes across to the next high volume node, and then it starts to build that area up. Interesting. Not sure what the hell that means, but or how you play off of that, but that's why so often I'm looking from it to trade from one to another after we get into the trading day. Okay, boys. Into the last half hour here pretty quick. What's Bloomberg have to allow? Rare earth. China does have a lot of rare earth. I can't remember what the hell it was I bought, but I used to buy some stuff from them for a tropical fish farm I was involved with at one time. Nemo and all of his pink squirrels and dotty backs and orchids and all of the clownfish. That was an interesting, fun thing to do. Well, here's the guy we should be. 23 billion payday. I like the sound of that. I'd take 1% of that and be fairly happy. Wow. I find it really hard to believe that anybody ought to be able to, contributes enough to something for a $23 billion payday in a year. It's kind of amazing. So, what have we got going on here now? A lot of red across the board, which bears out our crude. I'm surprised. I was thinking that crude ought to be doing quite well considering of the story in Texas. Where did energies go? There we go. Huh. Well, it's not down too far. 1.52%, but it's up over 60 for a change. That's not so bad. H1 is H1 the crude? I think crude might have rolled. Watch the volume. That volume jumps way up. It's in the wrong contract. Yeah, there we go. Quite a big difference. J1, I don't know how I missed that. I'm not so sure that that's rolled yet. 22.18. 22.12. Yeah, I guess it did roll. Oop, oop, oop. What's going on here? That's open interest. God damn it. I want to look at volume. Eyes are not working so good here. 1926, 7,000. Okay. Yeah, that's all right. 6,300. There we go. There's the 22, 168 I was looking for. 402. Yeah. They send out blurbs when I start my when you start your program. I can't show one on screen here because it's on my other machine, but to roll over. But I try to do them frequently. But some things that I never trade, I don't pay that much attention to it. That one is still there. 33, 12. Nope. You want to roll to the highest volume. That's the whole idea. And they just keep grinding higher. Oh, painful. Painful. Got some dry mango here that tastes pretty good, but I hope it's not making obnoxious noises on the stream. I'll have to listen to it. If so, I'll have to I'll remember to mute if I have a drink of water or something to gnash on. Nosh, nash, whatever. However. So back to the daily. Is that a 1, 2, 3? Everybody's got a different hustle. So far, days ago when I pointed out that this looked like a support area and this wick test might happen. That's pretty much happened. Now we got some more support right here. And that seems to be where this one is topped out and this one is topped out and this body stopped. So those areas are easier for me to see than all this other stuff that people talk about so frequently. I wish they had a good point and figure chart here, but they don't. It gets through doing this. We'll wind it out and look at that point and figure. What's the matter here? Why is this being so hard? The whole trick with a point and figure chart is, or the basic principle of the point and figure, which was originally started by Dow of all people. Oh, now that's exciting. Is that it's got to be. What the hell is going on? Why are all these charts jumping and coming off and on and all that stuff? These X's have got to be exactly square for all the other configuration of point and figure to work. So that means you got to wind that up about there, I guess. That looks pretty square compared to that circle being round. That's how the trend lines and the real point and figure works. So I find this point and figure chart pretty useless. I like point and figure actually, but there we go. Got to bring her down now, boys. Are you the VWAP? Yeah, just turned over the hour, and they came off 20 points. Right back to a lot of resistance, support. However, if they break through this line, quite possibly could get down to this value area, high volume node here, and then we can't discount the VWAP. As kind of light as the trading is now, I am not too excited about getting into a trade going into the open. Let me just look at something else here. I haven't figured out how to graph or chart the VIX on this thing. Which is pretty disappointing. If they don't have that, I'll be pretty amazed. Okay, I want the VIX. Stock futures indexes. And it's a CBOE too. I don't understand that. Yeah, the VIX is way down. So here's the VIX, which is, get out of here. Here's the VIX. I like this. I like it when it's up here. I'm not real happy about it when it's down here in the 20s, and even less so when it's lower than that. So this is the volatility exit. Jesus. Index. Just wash my tongue and can't do a thing with it. There we go. Let's see what NASDAQ says here. Continuous contract front month. Let's just look at the let's look at the front month. Daily range. This is trading view. They think it's going to fall off to the 583. I was looking for the daily range if they had a like an average daily range or something going on there. I thought I saw that earlier, but I guess I'm dreaming. Strong buy, technical. So yeah, baby. Buy, buy, buy. Okay, yes, I want to leave. Thank you so much. Okay. Smack that subscription button and the thumbs up and all that other stuff. See if we can get some people in here and get some conversation going. That would be great. Maybe get some viewers from Asia here and Europe, and got to be a pile of people in the States. They're going to bring it down now, I would think. At least across this volume area, but I am not going to get into a trade to hold just as we start the volatility pick up into the open for that open business. Be right back. All right, traders, here we go. They're going to get through that low volume area, low volume node, to use the vernacular of all the YouTube guys, Morad and everyone. Okay, so there we get down here now. We're coming up on the quarter. With the VIX down at that 20 level, that's kind of disappointing. I was hoping for a little more volatility. And these profiles just, it's like a pinball machine. So here we go. They're just down there now, fussing around with that consolidation area. They ought to break down to here. I would appreciate that if they would do so. Then they ought to mosey through this and then down to here. Or they could just send me a text and let me get short and take it right down to the POC or the View app, and then I would be a happy camper going into the weekend. Probably not going to happen. Tweezer bottom there. Even the ES is got a bit of a range, but look how goofy the profile is. Look how skewed the kurtosis is here with the. This is below value area. This is the value area, and there's maybe 2 ticks above up here. That's amazing. And the POC is right at the top. So here we are trading. They had a big consolidation area here. Traded up through it, one time framed up. Broke it here. Again. Broke it here hard. And now they're trading right here in the middle. No man's land. Are they going to be able to open? Will they try to get down here and close the gap? Doubt it. Doubt it. Oh, well. Trade what we see. Trade what we see. That's all we can do, right? That's all we should do. We shouldn't have a preconceived notion. The market will do what it wants, not what we want. There's an old saying that says the market can remain irrational much longer than you can remain liquid. And boy, there's a lot of people that keep trying to buy the tops or pick bottoms that know the meaning of that phrase. Well, if any market makers are listening, I would prefer if you just would give me about a straight directional move somewhere between 5 and 10 points. So I have 5 and 10 handles, 50 points, whatever, however you say that, so that I can just have a quick night and get a nice Friday night sleep heading into the weekend. And probably neither one of those things is going to happen. So we're down at 18 minutes. We've got less than 10 minutes to go here for the open. Crazy they're not doing all that dancing around. And what is this? This is only the 19th. It's not I don't think there's any substantial options. Expirations, that's usually the end of the month. So let's see where we are here now. When the market opens, of course, Jigsaw will reset all columns. The value area profile here from Globex will jump over to the left, and the regular trading hours volume profile looks like this, with darker blue as the value area, the value area low, high, and the POC, as opposed to no volume value area highs and lows, but the POC and shades of gray on the Globex. So easily identified visually. So to get my risk in mind here, once again, I've got a 275 weekly P&L. So in other words, my weekly loss limit of $1,000, I've had a drawdown on my weekly loss limit of 275 based on that stupidity yesterday of the 400 and whatever it was, 441, 430 loss on the 3 trades. So I need to be mindful of this, and I'm clean on the daily loss limit, so there's no worries there. The only loss restriction could be this one. So we've got $725 loss limit today. And unfortunately, TopStep has locked out this business, which is really too bad, because if I could set this in here and protect myself, that's the whole point of having this here. You can put all these different loss limits and protections in here, maximum, make sure you don't overtrade your products. Here's your permitted products. Make sure you don't overtrade your size. A lot of good things they have built in, but TopStep's got that locked off for their own risk parameters. So I have to be mindful that I've got $725 loss limit. So if I see my loss limit getting up to approaching that for whatever reason, that's shut off time. I would shut off long before that, but That's the risk loss limit that I have to worry about from the combine side. My normal loss limit is much lower than that. But just like yesterday, just 3 stop outs. One was a legitimate attempted trade. Actually, 2 were. Went my way, but a little bit later. I was just premature. But one of them, the second one, was too fast. I didn't think about it. That was like a reactionary trade. That was not good. But just those 3 trades, just to stop out without anything wrong, didn't move my stops, didn't do anything else. That's 430. So have to bear that in mind. Now we're getting a little bit of action over here. The book's starting to liven up a little bit. And we're approaching 5-minute mark. Approaching that 5-minute mark. So happy trading. Manage your risk. Trade what you see. Stick to your plan. And remember that your goal is to be able to trade Monday or Sunday night, however you look at it, wherever you are in the world. Tomorrow, in other words. But tomorrow's not a trading day, so there you are. And if you can always trade tomorrow, then you're doing a reasonable job of managing your risk and increasing your sample size. And that's what increases your ability or your possibility, probability for your edge to manifest itself in a profitable and positive way. And that's really the key for long-term success trading. That's what more serious professional traders look at, the longer-term consistent profitability. Five minutes. 5 minutes. The next possibility, of course, is to increase the lot size, leaving the brackets alone. But I wanted to maintain this risk off or minimalized risk posture until I was over that contract scaling point. Been a big change in the market in the last 4 weeks. That's for sure. This NASDAQ now is just trading like it used to, almost like the summer time in the old days, as opposed to how it was when that VIX was up. I tend to prefer the volatility and the bigger swings. It's when the market's swinging wider, it's a lot easier to jump in and take a little bit out of the middle. And we're going to open here pretty quick. They're getting all excited about it. They could run through this one now. It's low volume area down to here. A little bit hard to tell. Kind of thought they would have done that by now, actually. Definitely don't want to get into a trade 1 minute into the open, before the open, unfortunately. One minute. Trade safe. Be focused. Next week, I will go back to my keyboarding rather than mousing for trades. I find that to be more efficient. I just have to take a bit of time and make sure I've got the jigsaw brackets the way I want them. And unfortunately, I can't have the same hotkeys on both Jigsaw and Tradovate, which is pretty annoying. Yeah, they're going to do it. There we go. And we're open. Right across this value area here. Market on open orders. There's a swing down at 680. Boy, these tight little opening ranges. 10 points, not even. Wow. We haven't gotten even down to the thought about closing this gap yet. And they put a lot of contracts in there at the POC in a big hurry. Spread that range out a little bit so I can see it better. Are they going to test it down? Doesn't look like it. Looks like they're just monkeying with this here, huh? See if they take this down to VWAP here. Short one. Not gonna pay out. It doesn't look like they can get below here. Come on, boys, get her down there. Let's see some horsepower. We're short on the selling off on the ES. They can just get this into volume. We'll be able to get somewhere. Not liking this consolidation here. That's starting to be a time constraint I don't like. There we go. Now, are we going to get that extra points? See that there, the bracket would have worked. No heat yet. Here would have been our target. My target. Gotta hate that. I don't know why I fall into that my and we stuff. Yeah. So we would have taken our 10-point target there. It's just not moving though, like I had thought. Not moving the way I like it. And look at there, we're just came down and tested the top of value and rejected out. Now, if that continues, we should go start moving to the upside. See if they can get into value here. So far, they haven't been able to stick it. So far, they haven't stuck it in there. Right to there. Top of the range, but they haven't gotten it into the value area on the, well, on either the volume or the TPO. So what do we got for value here? Whoa, now what's going on? Why won't that do that? 666, the devil. Mark of the devil. Look at that. If it breaks through there, it's going to get a run down to the VWAP. Absolutely, if it breaks that bottom and into value. Get all that nonsense off of there before I start thinking I've got a trade on and freaking out. There we go. Oh. There's value area right there. There's that VWAP. Should get through that volume, yeah. That was a normal set. Was one of my A setups, and I didn't take it. That was really stupid. I should have had a resting order waiting here for that bounce. That's a play I would normally make. Now they're bouncing out of volume, out of value, and they could move to the top. They've almost closed the gap. Yeah. And that's a one test deal. That volume VWAP bounce is a one First test is the best test, absolutely. The theory now is, market profile theory is, if you test into volume, into value, and are accepted here in value, you'll trade chances are extremely good you'll trade to the POC or across the value, which would be clear down here. So that we need to watch for. They did close the gap, so gap rules applied. And the gap rules are, if they close the gap in the first few minutes of trading, chances are they'll close it. They will trade across the previous range. And if they get rejected out, then the hell knows. Up they go. Two tests, two bounces off the VWAP. That's pretty amazing. Test, basically a test, and essentially another one. So now we're in the middle of a really tight range, value area range, trading range. Actually, a pretty tight trading range altogether, considering here's the start, here's the open. Here's the open. I'm not sure why those two are overlapping like that. Charting is a little funky, but the price is right. And it's quite capable for the price. I've used Investor RT and Sierra Chart and TradeStation, and for free, or very little expense, this is a quite capable system, charting system. And I use the desktop version. I don't use the browser based, just because I was able to set it up the way I wanted it and have it stream properly. And I guess but I have it all set up on my browser also, so if something happened, I could jump over there on my other computer and whatever else. I also have it on my phone. Tradovate has a phone app. It would be a pretty funny Chinese fire drill for me to get out of a position on that thing, but anyway, I do have it. So you'd think they're going to go across value, or across that low volume node up to test the value area high, but they don't seem to be too excited about that at the moment. ES just keeps heading for the hills, or the valleys, I should say, heading for the bottom over here. ES traded, the NASDAQ traded in, coming up here, maybe rejecting out. They may start building higher. I don't know. I'm thinking they're going to take it up here to the value area low. The value area high. Boy, I can't think and talk. It's funny when you sit and trade without saying anything for such a long time, and then I start this trading. I caught myself day before yesterday talking about the weather, and I kept saying Florida because it's on my mind, because I have friends there and live there. And I actually edited out the Florida part so I didn't sound like such an idiot for somebody that was listening and going, what is this guy talking about? The weather's in Texas. Stupid. I don't know why that is. My internal monologue doesn't ever sound weird. Here we go. Another bounce there. So what we've got so far really is a downward skew on a trading range, and a real tight range at that. So they still can't get it up to that value area low. I'm thinking this time it might make it. What I get for thinking, apparently. Yeah, they got it up there this time. Well, you would think they'd explore north of halfback. That's where we are right now. This is the current trading session VWAP, POC. The difference being the VWAP is calculated from the beginning of the session, and Jigsaw resets the session at the open for regular trading hours. Whereas Tradovate goes from the open of the Globex for the trading session after the close. I'd love to take a log off of that, but I don't think that's probably a wise thing to do. I'd like to put 2 contracts on long and get it up to about 20 points and then sign off. Sign off, sayonara. Trading range, trading range. Look at that noise. Basically 25, 20, 25 points. Not even. Value area. The last few days I've noticed that they just do this open auction here back and forth for the first period trading, bracket period or first 30-minute period, whatever you want to call it. Each one of the brackets on the profile are 30 minutes. And then it starts getting directional after that. That's happened the last few times, last few sessions. My problem is after about midnight, I start getting a little woozy and lose focus, and it's better off to be in bed. Now they're going to bust it out and get all those stops that are parking up down there. Look at all the stops you imagine are loading up down here. I'm going to think, let's say down to the 640, I'm guessing. Once those stops pop. I'm not guessing that enough to take that trade, though. Because the swing's too much. They could take it there the other way just as easy. There we go. And, 45. They didn't take it that far. So there weren't a lot of stops laying there. That was not significant by any stretch. They're just having a real tough time getting down into volume and getting value and getting moving. They did repair this poor high. A little bit leery to try the reversion trade, mean reversion trade here, just because of the chopperama that's going on. And the basic trend for the last couple of days has been down. Like that. Look at that wick mess going on there. And here's our Globex. So the Globex stat is not in place. We have not taken out either the high or the low. That hasn't been justified yet. I'm guessing that they're going to take this thing down to the at least as POC. But it doesn't seem like they have a lot of horsepower behind them here. Doesn't seem like they have a lot of horsepower yet. They have more than I'm going to go long against, that's for sure. But I just don't see this price action to the upside, which is how the mean reversion trade. I mean, this is your best aspect trade here, because you go long here, shooting for the back to the median mean reversion. You know where you're wrong. I mean, you could know where you're wrong within 5 ticks. But on the other hand, it's just steadily inching down. They're just steadily grinding it down there. And I have a feeling it's going to just break down. And, having a feeling is not the best way to trade. I should say the context is not really indicating that it's going to do that. This put in this consolidation here and below VWAP, below something else, below the market value area low. I'd say the probabilities are low that they're going to, that mean reversion would work out today. And the minute I say that, they'll go across there and run right up to POC, of course. Sure as hell. I should stop talking and start clicking, I guess. It just happens quite frequently lately. Yeah, they're going to take it back to POC. Well, there was a good mean reversion trade. Asymmetrical trade location. You pick up any one of these spots here and take your trade and put your long on, and within, well, what do you got? Within 5 points, 5 ticks, 5 points, that you're wrong. Let's see here. Let's look at it as a trade would be. So you're going long. You would have definitely made your 10 points, and here's your stop clear down there. You could have brought that stop way up. 8 minutes to the change. Top of the hour. Oh, look how close we are to settlement. 6:33. Wow. I didn't realize that. Settlement's right there. Really? Oh, yeah. Okay. Sure. Settlement. Okay. So they completely closed that gap and down to settlement there. I get put off by the perspective of this charting. This looks like a real tight trading range to me, just a whipsaw, right? But in reality, these are 10-point moves. So, pick off 2 or 3 of those, you got 30, 40 points there. And that's a good trading day. Just scalping back and forth on the range. I'm still a little put off by the tight value area, though. So far into the market, we're at the 5 minutes to the top of the hour. We're 0.21% green, so we're just a little bit over that close settlement. Green across the board, green across the board, risk on. Is it going to get rocking here? What's it going to do? Going to get across POC and get up there to the value area high? I think so. Yeah, there we go. Value area high. So they're just basically trading it. It's an open auction. They're going to cross value. Not any real conviction, but they're just trading it. ES is making a move up on the 5-minute. We're right on half back here now. That's a real visual reference for a lot of intraday traders, I guess. I have never really looked at it myself, but apparently it is. And we're going to change that bracket in about a minute. I'd like to see that thing just get going there. Well, they're consolidating here at the top end, and they pulled the POC up a little tighter. That's going to pop one way or the other. Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? That's the big question. The big question. So close to the POC. Thought would kind of be down, trading away from it. But they have explored further up than they have down in the auction. But it looks like down. Pretty convincingly down there. Back to POC. Right on the bracket change. My suspicion is higher at this point. No real reason to say that other than just a feeling, I guess. But then with feelings and 25 cents, you buy a cup of coffee, I guess. Huh? Or, well, it used to be. Someday. In the olden days, you could buy a cup of coffee. Now Starbucks is like $10 or something. Oh, amazing. Oh, come on. Get away from that VWAP POC and get out of there. Or I'm going to get out of here pretty quick. I'd like to put on a couple of trades and even up yesterday, but not going to overtrade it or push it. But this is just not pleasing me much here. Not interesting me much. They're just running back and forth over that halfback, up and down the tight little volume area or value area there. Pretty perfect distribution. A little bit skew to the upside. VWAP and value value area low just right on top of each other from the original. Now the VWAP for the regular trading hours is 666. Right there now. Pretty close anyway. That's pretty much it right there. I'm guessing it's its high point right here. Right there. Oh, come on. It's Friday. I hope it's a good Friday for weather-wise. I hope things are improving for my colleagues in Texas. once that top breaks, it's going to go running up out of there because they've been just hammering on that all this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's got to be all kinds of stops laid up there, I would think. But the problem with that is if you don't take an entry down here somewhere so that you got some room when they get there, and then you get hammered like this every time, you keep getting stopped out, you know. You certainly don't make back your loss unless you pick up the bottoms and take off the tops. Step away for a minute, get some water. And I see the market makers are still monitoring my chair, so the minute I leave, they run the thing down. I hope somebody popped on that. It's a little sell-off there. What is this? I have to drive you to drink. What a perfectly textbook profile that is, distribution. Doggone, that's just a nice sell-off there, breaking through the value area low and all these low points. Now, they still haven't done any justice up here on the stops that are lurking about on the top. So is this a mean reversion trade back towards POC? Or are they going to keep coming off with it? They're back into value now. Pretty close over here. It's easier to see for some reason when I go like, oh, not even close. Value area is clear down here. It looks totally different on my when it's smaller, so they haven't even gotten close to value, except that a lot of times they consider a double distribution like this with singles in the middle, so the value area would be up in here. That's interesting. Yeah, okay, I can see it now when I make it a little bigger. But they're into range, but not value. Market profile value, which is here. This is the volume profile, and obviously volume value area is this big wide thing here, which is how can that be really considered value? I don't know. Value is supposed to be one standard deviation either side of the POC, but I don't know. So are they going to bottom out here? Halfway through this bracket, we're in the C. We'll be heading for the C period. What's something else look like? What's a 5-minute look like over here? They still haven't broken down to this POC area. Or the sigma 1 off the VWAP. real tight area. Oh, I'm going to change that too while I'm at it here. Keep forgetting to do that. So we want to see the volume profile, background. Yes. Oh no, that's the other one. Oh. Yeah, that's the one. I want to save that as default. Save. 5 minutes. See if this works now, like I think it's supposed to. Where'd the damn thing go? Where'd the volume profile go here? That's what I want to see. For indicators, that's what it is. There we go. So that's how you do that. And while I'm doing that, this is selling off. We're getting ready to break off on the ES over here, looks like. Doesn't that look different? Doesn't that look different? That looks like it'll trade back up to the bottom value area low to me. At least up through here, through this consolidation area. And if you look at it over here, you're thinking, well, that's going down. Lower highs, lower lows. Time frame, and there we are, right to value area low. That gonna move up there, do you think? Seems to struggle every time it gets around that value area. I'd like to take that reversion up there, or at least pass through VWAP and get another trade on it. But it just seems to struggle here. Not any conviction. There we go, somewhere. Maybe that's going to work. See what happens here. See if we can get up to the POC across the VWAP there. From this volume area to this one. Just put a protective, move that stop up to break even there so we don't lose any money. There we go. That wasn't looking too promising there. And I'm not in the mood to give any money back. Now it'll probably break. Yep. There was a trade I was looking for. Well, maybe. 57 quarter. Yeah. I'm not disappointed with that. Now I think we're going to get that move up to the POC. Got a lot of consolidation up here, however. So I think we would have eventually gotten our target. So we would have eventually picked up at least our break-even stop. But I don't feel bad about moving that up to break-even and not giving them any money back. Had I done that yesterday, of course, yesterday was just straight up stops, never went my way. And here we come. And is it going to bounce the value area low? The problem with that, very little movement to the value area low, and the VWAP is so close by. It'd take a bounce, so that would have been a justified trade. I guess I got to get back to taking those normal setups. I was just kind of got out of the habit when it got real high volatility. It was swinging past, sliding by 5-10 points easy, and it was, doing 50-point 5-minute candles. So I got out of the habit of taking those normal setups. If it's going to stay this kind of volatility and this price action, I'm going to have to get back to that. What's this say down here? $10. That's better than poking the eye, I guess. $60 expectancy, 100% win rate. Just think right there, it ought to go up. The problem is we got a lot of problem over here on the ES. A lot of resistance in this area. And this profile is just struggling. It can't get doesn't seem to be able to get very far above this poor high to save itself. A period did a fair bit of initial balance there was pretty wide, but since then it's just been caving in on itself. Here we go with the consolidation, the zipper. What's it going to do? Which way is it going to pop, up or down? I've gotten burned so many times on those things thinking and especially in this case when it's right inside of value. It's not, on a periphery where you're thinking you're going to get some movement outbound. What they're going to do now is monkey around and keep trading that till where they've got the POC jump down. Pretty close now, I would think. Yep, nope, pretty quick. 660. Yeah, it's going to jump down. It has on Jigsaw, but it has not yet on the Tradovate. That's interesting. That's pretty interesting. 660 is right here. And that's where POC is on Jigsaw, but it hasn't moved down on the Tradovate platform yet. And I'm not going to get involved in this drop zone. I'd like to have another couple of successful trades off on this, but we just changed the bracket again. So we're on C now, I believe. Barely see it over here, but yes, we are. Blue. Wow. I would certainly like to see it make a move and get on it for some pointage. But it's Friday. It's Friday night, my time. It's Friday, everybody's time. And one thing you do not want to do is overtrade yourself, dig a hole, burn a bunch of emotional capital, and then spend the weekend thinking about what an idiot you are. That's a real bad scenario. Emotional capital is much harder to replace than risk capital. So that's something that you really need to get your head around. And that factors into position size, product choice, and your whole risk management because that's a big part of it. If you've got to get to a point where taking those losses, which are absolutely going to happen, don't throw you for a loop with your emotional capital. You can't have a drawdown on emotional capital. Scared money cannot trade. Absolutely cannot trade. Looks like they're going to take her down now. Look at that ES. It's just slamming back and forth in this little tight range. 22 to 7. What? Jesus criminy. Less than 10 points. That's just amazing. Just amazing. I'm going to call it at the top of the hour here. Get some shut eye at the midnight. Look forward to a Saturday morning. Review these trades. Get that final video up for the Holy Grail, which has got a is really actually is the Holy Grail, and it's really important. So I want to finish that video with the second one off. Let's finish off the video series with the second one, and I'll have that off my mind. If you're so inclined, this is definitely a wedge. This is just a chop fest over here. I mean, and but they're trading it back and forth to the POC. So if you're a good scalp trader or scalp, you know, range trader or a scalper, you could be making good money off of this day. Just moving in and out. I got a little bit nervous right here and covered too quick. I wouldn't have really taken any heat to my target. So that's technically an error, but I also have a philosophy that you could never go broke taking profits, whether it's $1,000 or 20. It still beats losing, I think. So in the long run, obviously your expectancy and things suffer from those kinds of trades, but I will go to bed much happier having 2 wins and $120 on the green than I would with some red up there. I'd sleep a lot better probably with $1,200 instead of 120, but I don't think they're going to give me that motion today. There's not going to be that price action from the looks of it, and I'm not going to hang around past the top of the hour, and that's undoubtedly when they'll have the run on the power hour at the end of the trading session. When I get back to the other side of the world where this is day trading instead of night trading, I'll be in a position to take advantage of that. They really need to take it across that low volume area up there to the value area high. But it seems like I'm the only person that's interested in them doing that. All these little tops up here, I haven't forgotten about all these guys that think they're real clever with their stops. You have to ask yourself what their target would be. I guess it would be the POC probably, or this whole number down here. But this action here is not pleasing me, and The problem is when they get up here, then it looks like they're going to do this same double top thing again, and they did get it across that low volume area, so they might take it across now to the value area low. The ES just can't get above that value. There they go. So they made the value area high. I didn't listen to myself again or look down here at this nice movement of buyers coming in on the cumulative delta. Now the question remains, are they going to do this? So I take a long here and see. I don't think so. I don't think so. A long out of down here would be okay with some profit under your belt and move your stop up there to a reasonable, like a tops here, and then see what happens. But I am just imagining that when they get to this, if they break here, they're going to get a hell of a breakout. And I'm real tempted to take that trade, but I don't do so good with breakouts. Seems kind of like a sucker play. You do have to think that pretty soon all of these stops, somebody's going to trigger them. And when they do, it's going to get up in here someplace. Well, not really. Not really the stop run that I expected. Of course, 80 is probably the spot. They're probably laying right above, right in this low volume area here. That's probably where they've got them tucked up. Price action is just so slow. It doesn't seem to have any conviction. It's just dawdling back and forth. Well, there's some conviction. What was that all about? That was like a news, they were just hanging around waiting for something and then jumped it. Crazy. Kind of crazy. Book is definitely heavier on the top side. Well, well. Now we're back on flopping around on POC like a fish out of water. Surprising to me that there weren't stops built up there after all this price action. Test, 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 test. Surprising that there weren't more stops there. But they didn't quite get to the 680, which would just be ahead of these guys here. That could be what it is. I don't know. Don't know. Now I know it's right in the middle and I'm not interested. That part I know for sure. I know that for sure. My guess is they're going to trade down to here, this high volume area. All these tops, a lot of resistance right there. Yep. But really not my kind of price action. Just that jerky, jumpy, nothing there. So we'll review this trading this weekend. I have my usual weekend work to do for my other interests. So things are opening up again over here. So we'll go out tomorrow for the great sushi bar that we go to for lunch a lot, and it's just out of this world. Get out for a walk and some sunshine and some good food, and slot into some work and analysis of trading and the weekend routine. And there they are. Took them forever to get there. The way these range candles are formed, they're based on the amount of trading. So if hardly any trading is going on, they take forever to form a new candle. Or if it's a lot of trading, they just run out like a cascade. So it kind of gives you a sense of the market, even if you're not watching the dome, which is just kind of flopping back and forth over here. If you're somewhere where you're going to trade the rest of this day, be extremely careful. And I hope weather is good and healthy. Wash your hands, wear your mask, do all that stuff that you need to do. Because this price action is not interesting interesting to me at all. It looks to me like they're getting ready for a movement. I don't know what they're waiting for, but I would suppose that the power hour could be a good move. Excuse me. But I can tell you I'm certainly not going to sit up and wait for it. I'm struggling to get through the next 10 minutes here. Yeah, that makes no sense. Just consolidate down there like that. Maybe they're setting up for an options expiration or something. I don't know. Generally, when there's this kind of almost obvious manipulation of price where they just bring it down and hold it somewhere and keep it in such a tight range, there's usually heavier hands at work and they have a reason for what they're doing as opposed to the weaker hand intraday typical traders. That's what I believe to be the case. And I would say that this is one of those situations where somebody with deep pockets has got a plan, is executing a plan. But they barely can't get out of their own way, hardly. One little excursion down here. The rest of the damn day, they've been just slamming back and forth. Wow, this is just ridiculous here. I'm going to call it call it on the top of the hour. And the moment I do, get your mouse all ready to go, because I'm sure the second I leave, it's just going to go blowing out of here and head for the moon, all-time high or something. So nothing would surprise me, but I'm not going to sit here and watch this thing thrash back and forth between the value areas like that and not really present an opportunity to me. Right now, I would be expecting to go long, thinking that they were going to come through that value area and take out those stops, get up here into this low volume area and at least tag this. But I've thought that one, two, three, four, 5 times, and it didn't happen. So I am certainly not going to bet any money on it. All right, traders, have yourselves a wonderful rest of your Friday and a great weekend. Conserve your emotional capital and your risk capital. Remember, your main goal in life as a trader is to be able to trade tomorrow. That's the most important thing you can do for yourself, to give yourself longevity in the business and the opportunity to get enough samples to realize your edge and your consistent profitability. Now, they look like they're going to try to take it up again, but this is be the 6th time. So I'm not going to throw along on there and hope for it. Have a great trade. I am going to call it. Stay warm, stay healthy, wash your hands, wear your mask, manage your risk, manage your trade, make a lot of money. Now look at them. They're going to go now. The second I click off, it's going to run. Have a good one.